Well, good morning and welcome back to the channel. It's a lovely Sunday morning, about 6:20. I never was one for having a lie-in. As you can see, we're back outside Hebden Bridge police station. And basically what I'm going to do is we'll take you for a little walk around Hebden Bridge just to show you some of the shops that, what there were when I first came down in 1989. There's been a few changes, obviously, and I'll just go back to that time. And in fact, if my memory serves me right, if it is slightly wrong or if I've made a few mistakes, just leave us a comment. Let us know what it is that you remember that I don't. Right, we'll set off. As you see, this is the old Hebden Bridge police station where we were the other day. Walking down Home Street, and that's Croft Street, which is that's just the back of it's the side of the police station. This place here, this used to be Keith James's taxi office, right next door to the Nick. It was quite handy, really, because we used to just, if we found any drunks, we used to just slip him some money and let him take them home. So it just saved a lot of messing about and freed us up. I think Keith quite enjoyed it, really, to some degree. Right, moving on. This is Chicken Crumbs. This used to be the Paradise. And I can remember when they first set up business in Hebden Bridge. Up till then, we had very few takeaways. And when they finished trading at the end of the night, any food that were left over, they used to be knocking on the back door of the Nick, giving us sort of kebabs and other Eastern delights. This is the dentist. It's always been the dentist since I've been here. And looking across, you can see the cinema. We saw quite a few films there. I think we went to see the Titanic there in 1997 when it first came out. And we were sat in the front, not the balcony. We were steerage class. Looking across, this is quite new, really. And when I first came down here, this were all Phil Watson's builders and joiners. And as you see, there's actually, I'll take you across and just show you what there is here. We've got the canal barges, and sort of unique to Hebden Bridge, we've actually got a dry dock where they put the barges in for essential maintenance. It was like being back in Devonport Dockyard, really, because we had quite a few dry docks there, but this is on a much smaller scale. And there you go. There's obviously one in there for maintenance already. They can actually get underneath and get any work that needs doing there. Rimdam Tyre, that's one of our favourite spots. When this first came on the scene, the ladies there, they were really, really friendly, and a bit like the Paradise. After the end of trading, they'd come round with some Thai delights for us. That's the Railway pub. That's always been there. Moving on, Hebden Townhouse. Now this used to be Hebden Lodge, one of the hotels. I think there were only 2 hotels in Hebden Bridge at the time, and that was a nice place. We used to pop in there now and again and have a word with the night staff. They used to make us a brew, and we just chat and talk about Hebden Bridge things. This building here, this used to be Butterworth Solicitors. Quite a nice chap that was working there. We had 1 or 2 jobs that he was, some of his clients were involved in. I think he mainly did the civil side of legal work. And moving on, there's a little shop here called Childhood Reflections. They sort of specialised in children's toys, quite nice toys really. And nipping across the road, classic carpets. Now that used to be Kebcoat, the outdoor wear. They used to, it were a higher class sort of outdoor wear. They used to do Barber and Dryserbone wax jackets. Right, and moving on, let's see, there's some lovely buildings in here in Hebden. I once saw a plan for this is Albert Street, and they were going to pull these houses, they could pull these places down and build like 3-storey masonettes, which I thought were, well, luckily, thankfully it didn't come off. It's more 1960s lunatic plans of vandalism. Right, this is Croft Mill. This were up and running when I first came down here. Quite an interesting tale. We had an attempt break-in at Croft Mill, and when we went in, the chap showed us round, and they were doing you know, the kneeling cushions they have at church. It's mostly Protestant churches, Church of England churches, with decorative kneeling cushions. And it had an order in for a church down in Hereford who, I think they call it St Martin's. It was the church of the Special Air Service, and they'd had an order in there, and it had the wing dagger design for some of the kneeling cushions there, which I thought were quite interesting. Still got a little chimney going there. Right, moving on. This was a working mill when I first came down, and I can remember people coming in first thing in the morning, setting off to work. I just can't remember what maybe some sort of textiles, but if I'm wrong, just feel free to let me know. Moving on a bit further, we're just coming into Garden Street car park. We used to check this one quite regular. We'd had 1 or 2 cars broken into, and this little part here, I'll just take you in. We'd had a few cars dumped at some stage. I think some local lads were going across to different towns like Burnley and Rochdale for a night out, nicking a car, coming back and just dumping them here. One particular night we saw one parked up, it looked a bit skewy. So me and my mate leapt out the Land Rover, made his way across to check the car out, and when we looked in, we had a bit of a surprise, and so did the occupants. It were a couple that were doing what couples do at night. And as we walked away, my mate said, "Well, isn't that what they call its wife?" And I said, "Yeah, I think it was. And isn't that so-and-so's husband?" Anyway, we walked away, got back in the Land Rover and drove off. So if it was you, we obviously see all sorts of stuff on nights. It were no great surprise, really. It was just sort of part of the patrolling. So if it was you, don't worry, your secret's safe with us. I won't mention names. Right, moving on. This was probably one of the main car parks in Hebden Bridge, and I can remember, I think it was one set of nights. It must have been some kids that thought it was funny to. We'd had some roadworks up on Commercial Street, and some of the kids thought it was funny to drop some traffic cones on the cars below. So we'd had like half a dozen cars damaged by flying cones. Yeah, moving on. I mean, this is one of the little sort of patrols we did, mostly at the end of the night, or at the end of the shift. Usually about 2 o'clock in the morning, or about 1:30 before we went off at 2, just to check everything was okay. I'd say the biggest thing we had really were thefts of and thefts from motor vehicles, which is were quite prevalent. I don't know if it still is these days. They were breaking in and nicking the radio cassettes, like Blaupunkt radio cassettes. Didn't have CDs, it was just radio cassettes that they were nicking. Right, moving on. I think this was a little, it still is. It's a little antique shop. And this is Jules Pottery. I'm pretty sure this were here as well when I first came here. Right, I'll take you down Albert Street and then we'll go back and have another look round other streets in town centre. Right. See, it's lovely and quiet, there's nobody about, well, apart from me with my camera. It's a Beauty by Grace. I think this were Craney Cave solicitors, local solicitors. We did work close. We had shared clients, shall we say, and this was a paint shop. I think it was called Colour Yorkshire. That was the sort of main paint shop for Hebden Bridge. It's Taste of the East now. Moving down, I can't remember what this one was. It's Jack's Barbers, but I'm pretty sure one of these two here, the sandwich shop and part of Croft Mill apartments, looks like the estate office. I think one of them was, I'm pretty sure one of them was an old style cobbler's shop where we used to take our boots in to be mended. An old traditional cobblers who were there with his leather apron on, a bit of a character. Hebden Bridge Sports and Social Club, yeah, I went in there a few times, not as a member, but to sort one or two jobs out. There's some local characters that went in, and I think they probably still do. This was a bit of a puzzle, really. This is the Pennine Club. I've never ever been in there. All my 20 odd years of being in police, I think it was quite a well behaved place. I don't think they allowed anybody in that were a bit rowdy. I'm pretty sure these were houses and flats. Oxford House. Now then, that's a bit of a tale behind that one. I can remember our superintendent, when he were retiring, he showed some sort of interest in buying this and setting it up as a restaurant. I don't think he actually went forward with it, but we've all got plans and dreams, haven't we? Right, moving along. These have been different shops and a bit different shops. This end one here, I'm pretty sure this was the old undertakers. I can't remember which firm it was, but that's what that was. And the Albert pub, well, that's some right humdinger of nights in there. It was like the unofficial police club. A few of us used to finish our shift and then wander off in there to Albert for a few before going home. I'm pretty sure these were dwellings. And the Cardamom, that was another antique shop. Because when I first came down, like nowadays, a lot of these places are coffee shops and little takeaways and things, but in the day, it was antique shops, which quite prevalent in Hebden Bridge at that time. This is a nice building. It's the old Lloyd's Bank on Albert Street and junction of Oak Street. Sign of the White Horse and green logos. And looking across there, that's obviously the library. And that shop there, the Hermit, I'm pretty sure that was an antique shop as well. The jewellers here, that was your Aunt Chicks, a nice old lady that had that, and her son ran that. And we're just coming up to Carlton Buildings. Now this one here, it's been all sorts of things, but I think it was like a tailor's shop. When I can remember coming down. Carlton Chambers, this was the Carlton Hotel. It's quite a nice hotel. They used to put events on, like weddings and things that were lovely inside. And when they sold up, they flogged all the fitments off. So me and Sarah went down and we bought a couple of bedside cabinets and handfuls of nice forks and spoons, which we still got. Really nice. Looking back, we'd had, like I say earlier on, there were quite a few thefts of and from cars around Hebden Bridge, and the manager there, we were telling him, I think he'd had his car broken into as well, actually outside. So he let us do some obs from one of the bedrooms there, which were quite nice. Didn't actually catch anybody, but it was a nice evening, nice winter's evening in there. Just enjoying the coffee, biscuits and whatever else he'd put on. This shop here, this were Four Boys news agents when I first came down here. It's been all sorts of stuff since. I think Oasis had it as a news agents. Yeah, and just I'll go down this side and we'll come back up the other bit. It's quite nice because I can walk down main road without fear of being honked at and told to move out at road. This is Nelson's bar. Don't know if it still is or not, but that were part of the Crown Hotel, and it were called the Crown Bar. You go in and you go downstairs, and it's a nice dark sort of place with they put discos on and stuff. It were quite nice, really. And this is the Oasis. The Oasis off licence. It were Greenwood's before when I first came down here. An old guy that had it. It was like a little mini supermarket. Morning, you alright? Doing a bit of filming. Right, and that's the shops are opening now, so that were Marshall's bar. That were another place that we had some fun and games in. I won't tell you a great deal about the jobs I dealt with. I'm going to save that for another video. And the one there that's looks like it's been renovated, that were called Youth House. It was like a youth club sort of place that the young uns could go. I don't know what it's going to be now. This was the butchers. We had this was called Maskell's. It's my cousin's lad, Dan Gibbon, that has it now. Oh yeah, it's got a little window sign on there. Yeah, that was nice. the one stop. This was called the Spa. I've mentioned it a few times in my books. It's one stop now, but I've always known it as the Spa. And this is the Crown Inn. I think it was called Greenwoods. It's been all sorts of stuff. I think they've had a go at turning it into a hotel all along the years. Doing a bit of renovating now. I think they're going to be doing something with it. It's, yeah, very good. Crack on. Make the town a bit better than some of the empty shops and buildings that we've got. This is Cheetham Street. It's the back of the Spa there. Nathan's Barbers. That was, I'm sure that was a betting office. They had a little betting office here. Of course, there's no such thing really now. It's all done online. You just bet on horses or whatever you want to bet on your phone. Crown Street Fisheries. It were a family called the Boggis family. John Boggis were running that when I first came down here. We used to get a bit of discount for fish chips and mushy peas. That was they had a restaurant outside, like a fish and chip restaurant. The Excited Goat. Now that was Halifax Building Society, and I think before that, I think it was a shoe shop. When I first came down here, they were selling sort of high-class shoes for locals. And this is the famous NatWest. Yeah, I've mentioned this countless times. It's just on the junction of Crown Street and New Road. This was the NatWest Bank. And one of its main features is the bank steps where the famous bank step kids used to hang around. It was quite a good spot really for them, quite a tactical spot really, because we used to gather there and they could see up and down. They could see us coming from a mile off. They could see up and down on towards New Road, up Crown Street, and of course they could see anything that were coming from West End. So that was, I think that's why they used to hang about there. But we did have some good fun with them. I'm sure. Looking back, I'm sure they've got some tales of me and my pals patrolling around in police cars and Land Rovers. This was it's Pennine Travel at the moment, but it's been an estate agents, and before that it were Russell Dean's. They sold fabrics, I don't know, for like curtains and stuff. Yeah. This little yard here, it were back of Holt's greengrocers. Quite a busy little spot really for beginning of the day. They'd be having deliveries, fruit and veg. Of course, they're up early to get to the markets and stuff. Ted's Ice Cream now, I think. There used to be a taxi office there, as I understand, as I remember. So, yeah. There were one or two falling out and fights outside the taxi office with drunks wanting to get home and barging in front like they do when they're drunk. Now these two shops here, this was Marion Mitchell's, which were the ladies' clothes shop. They were quite an high-class clothes shop. I think it was mother and daughter that ran that. It was, it was lovely. Really, really nice old traditional shop. Man Chinese takeaway. That's another one of my old haunts. I have mentioned this place as well. I used to get, we got quite friendly with the staff in there. I remember we were chatting to one of the guys that used to serve on there. He was telling us that his uncle was a a superintendent out in the Royal Hong Kong Police until it was handed over to the Chinese in 1997. Right, moving on. Now I'm sure this was Thomas's chemist. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. It's just wasted now. I think it were both shops. I think it was the chemist. And going on a bit further, we've come into the current chemist, which I'm pretty sure, you'd have to bear with me, I'm pretty sure it's the North Eastern Gas Board office. We had a knee gas office in Hebden Bridge. Morning.
Morning.
The star of the film there.
I know you.
Yeah, you may do.
Are you doing YouTubing?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I were a policeman down here for years and years. Yeah.
Okay, I
And
watch various YouTubers. I mean, the Wandering Turnip and
Yeah.
Gimbal and so
Yeah.
on.
Oh, yeah.
I moved here 5 weeks ago.
Oh, lovely.
And people
Lovely.
ask me where from, and I have great fun with it because I moved from 60 miles north of San Francisco.
Good grief.
And because
Well, that's
it's because of you guys, because I would come home
Yeah.
frequently.
Yeah.
And then last October, I came and I stayed with friends from
Right.
Warwickshire all the way and up through
Wow.
Newcastle. And just
ended up-
decided where. And through YouTubing everything and walking around,
Yeah.
I just kept coming back to
I came down here in
coming back.
1989. Like I said, I used to be based at the police station there.
Yeah.
And the inspector called me in because I started at Hebden Bridge in '87.
Yeah.
And the inspector called me and said, "Oh, Mike, can you do me a favour? We need somebody to work at Hebden Bridge for 3 months." He said, "It's only for 3 months and we'll have you back."
Yeah.
Spent the rest of my career, fell in love with the place,
Yeah.
and I've written books. I'm on to my 11th book now. I kept
Wow.
notes and diaries of my time around here. So basically, a few months ago, my mate said, "Why don't you do a YouTube thing?" And I thought, "Oh no, I'll listen to my voice." And
Well, you know what I'm
it sounds
finding?
terrible.
No, probably to you.
Yeah, but
remember
anybody
the days
else.
of answering machines now would hear my voice on
Yeah,
the
you
whole
think,
thing. That's
"Oh,
me."
grief!" Yeah.
No, don't worry about
No,
it. And you know
no.
what? With all the people I've seen, and I've checked on Facebook as well, there are various sites,
Yeah.
I've found myself more fascinated by... I went to an art exhibition
Oh,
a month
right,
ago, and
right.
I was taking photographs of the ceiling in the
Oh,
place and
yeah.
the walls in the place.
It is absolutely amazing.
In fact, here,
It is.
And, you know, 'cause
I'll
there-
just put this on there.
put it on.
Yeah, that was nice. Just bumped into a lady there. She's moved here from across in America and settled in Hebden, eventually settled in Hebden Bridge. Similar stories, really. Yeah, moving on. This is now called Squeeze. It was called the Valet Stores, which used to sell every item of clothing you could think of, and it was the main sort of place where you got the school uniforms. Probably this time of year, kids were getting ready to go back to school in September. The school uniforms for Calder Eye, we used to get them there. And I can remember when we first moved down, we bought, because we moved into the country, we thought we were countryside people, and we got wax jacket apiece, and then we got for the girls. I think Daniel were far too small. He'd only been a few months old when we first got here. Oh no, he was born down here. That's it. He's the only Hebden Bridger, really, from my whole family. And we used to buy wax jackets, and also a couple of pair of the green frog wellies, which they used to wear forever. Right, yep. Great memories there. Anna Rose Ladies Store, that was the Hebden Bridge Times office, where we used to go in. You could just used to pop in and ask for appeals for crimes or witnesses to accidents and stuff, and we used to just pop in, and he gave us a free copy of the the Hebden Bridge Times. I say it was a lot easier. You could just pop in and ask them for to do appeals in next week's thrilling edition of the Hebden Bridge Times. Woody's Pizzas, that was Freemore Jewellers. That's probably, I think it was probably the only, well, apart from the other jeweller's shop I've just showed you, Duranchic's. I think there were only like 2 jewellers' shops in Hebden Bridge at the time. Yeah, Fleur de Lis, flower shop. That was, yeah, I think it was it World Cup '98? They'd made quite a giant size model of the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup. It certainly wasn't the Jules Rimet trophy. It was the FIFA World Cup, the new one. Well, new one in the time. And at the end of the competition, I think France won. I think they beat Brazil. And I popped in, and they let me have the trophy. So, right, moving top of Crown Street. This were Waits's. It's now Marshall's Bakers, but that's where we used to get the pork pies, team pork pies, and Cornish pasties. My mate were addicted to them, and he ended up having to. Every time he had one, he had to go down to the chemist and get himself some Rennies, because he had quite bad heartburn, but he still ate the bloody things. Right. Moving into George Square. This is the market area. I'm up here at the moment, even before the stallholders set up, which is quite good. Right. That was a butcher's originally. And moving on. Now I'll just get this right. I've got where are we? Sarah's helping with some of the. Let's have a look. Yeah, there were Barker's tobacconists in this row here. Had a bit of a funny carry on. I'd moved up to Rose Cottage and thought it'd be quite cool if I started smoking a pipe. So I used to come here and I bought a pipe and I bought some pipe tobacco. Went home, give it a go for a couple of days and ended up with a mouthful of ulcers. So that put paid to me smoking a pipe pastime, which tried to blend in with farmers in Blue Pig, but that didn't come off. So I gave that a miss. Right, walking along. Dragonfly Boutique. I'm sure that was a newsagent's, which a little guy was sort of running that, and yeah, I think he used to get some hassle off local kids coming home from Calder High School. We used to have to hang about round here while they all disappeared off home. We were getting some hassle from them. I think they were nicking sweets and all sorts of newspapers. Shoulder of mutton. I can remember the first time I came round here on foot patrol. I don't think they were used to seeing anybody on foot. We used to drive around everywhere, but I used to love going around on foot, and I can remember seeing the look of horror on the faces as I walked round corner. I don't think they were used to seeing a bobby. Right, limited boutique. It's limited edition. They still sell ladies' clothing. A lot of it is quite limited, really. It's not sort of mass selection. They are sort of one-offs that they sell there. This shop here, this is it's just come back to being like a gents clothing shop. It was called Jeremy Bear. I think that had when I were here, they'd had a few break-ins down here. I think they'd smashed the window and took some stuff out of there. Let's have a look. Just try to find what they have for Bridge Gate. Yeah, so on we go. That was a shelter shop, charity shop. It's a pizza place now. I'd say a lot of these shops and establishments, they do change hands and change of use. The White Swan. Been called there a few times. I did keep it in order, but I say we did end up going in a few times just to sort the job out. And let's have a look. Right, back with you. This shop here, the charity shop, it's RSPCA. I think it was Derek Bridges, flowers, international flower arrangers. Quite a well-known bloke around Hebden Bridge. Running the business from there. Oh, sorry, the RSPCA, that was the travel agents when I got here. And Fat Face, that was Derek Bridges. Right, and I can remember this one was, it was Watson, I think it was Watson's when I first got here, but it changed to Brian's, and we spent I spent quite a lot of time in there. Used to pop in for a brew, and yeah, really nice spot for a brew. Yeah. Watergate. That was still Watergate when I first started here. Hagia Sophia. This was Theo's, the Greek restaurant. Yeah, we used to celebrate most of our birthdays and anything really that were going on there. Made us really welcome. Just used to pile of food on that we'd never get through. We had Cleftico with the Cyprus potatoes, and they're absolutely gorgeous. It was his own secret recipe, and he wouldn't disclose how he did them. Yeah, I think the bakery, or it might be Yorkshire Chocolate Company, one of them were Help the Aged shop. Reed's Range, that was the estate agents at the time, still is. Pennine Wine and Cheese. I can remember when that opened, just before the millennium. Actually, it says, yeah, I can remember them setting up there. And this is the old Holt's greengrocers, which were quite a busy little shop really for, it was like the main greengrocers for Hebden Bridge, and they did fishmongers, and yeah, it's fell into disrepair at the moment, and thankfully somebody's put a bit of artwork up there just to brighten the place up, but the windows have been smashed. What a shame. But like I say, it was a busy little business. And looking across, this is the let's cross the road and you'll be able to see exactly what's going on. It's to let. That was the old Yorkshire Bank branch. That's where I used to that's my old bank. I can even remember the account number and the sort code. I won't tell you it, but anyway, this Audio Valley, this was the Calderdale Information Office, where you could go in and get the touristy things. That was another place that we did some obs at. We'd had some, I think there'd been some fighting and stuff between the Todd lads and Hebden Bridge lads, and they all used to meet. Round about the bank steps, head off into the park and have a right bloody set too. So one evening, I think it was one Friday evening, I ended up doing some obs up there. So looking out, spying on them, waiting for them to kick off, but they didn't. So I had a nice little evening up there, just watching the world go by in Hebden Bridge. Yeah. That's I'll do another walkabout, but I will mention a lot of the jobs that we'd dealt with whilst being here. What I've planning to do, and my daughter Maisie mentioned it a few months ago. She said, never mind notes made at the time, what about walks made at the time? So there's plans for me to set off and do like little walks, like sort of, I'm going to do a book and have little Wainwright type maps in there, all starting and ending at Hebden Bridge Police Station, which I think will be a nice little touch. I'll be mentioning jobs on there that as we go along up through the walks. I'd say they all start and end at Hebden Bridge, Nick. It's like going on the beat, really. This is Cabin Cafe. Not too sure if it's open anymore, but every time we walk past, they used to be putting breakfasts on. I think a lot of the postmen were, after the first deliveries, would be popping in. But the thing is, you could never see who were in there because all the windows were steamed up. It was like some little security thing that they had. Nobody could see in. So, well, we're just about coming to a close, really. I've done a full circuit. Like I say, I'm going to do some more of these little walks around Hebden Bridge. I'll do another one at the other side onto Market Street, and it's, just trying to point out what shops were here when I first came here. If you can think of any, just send us a little note on the comments, and just give us your thoughts and your memories of the old Hebden Bridge. Like I say, I came down here in '89, so anything before that I don't have much knowledge of. So, right, we're we're back again now. This is the cinema. That was a taxi office. I think Keith James moved across there from his little spot in Hope Street, next door to the Nick. So we're back again now. I'll just take you down Hope Street and then we'll call it a do for the day. I can go back and have some breakfast. I think everybody will be up by now. So, right, thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, give us the old thumbs up, subscribe, and like I said before, just leave a comment. Tell us what your thoughts are on everything Hebden Bridge. All right then, I'll see you in a bit. Take care. Cheers. Bye bye.